Lucky week 13. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We are 2 weeks away from the fantasy playoffs, the best ball playoffs. Let's get it. Liam and Davis. That's the intro. Davis, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Just maxed the turkey on Underdog Fantasy. The turkey filled. Now the turkey 2 is open with 11.1% rake. So I hope you guys got in the OG turkey. I hope that you guys got in the
Was that one rake free?
Yeah, 0% rake for the turkey.
All right. I was in Costa Rica for a wedding this past weekend, I should say. Great time, but probably should have stayed a day or two more. I realized because I was in on Friday, out on Sunday, so it was a real whirlwind. But
oh yeah,
good to see. Yeah, good to see some old friends. Some college friends there. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. There's one more By-Mageddon left. That would be week 14, where you got teams like the Texans, the Ravens on bye. But other than that, our advance rates should be relatively stable. I didn't lose that many teams this week, which surprised me. I remained steady just because I have a lot of chase keeping me up. The Bills had a bye. Although maybe those pieces just aren't advancing.
Right.
And I think I got a lot of teams holding on by like rubber bands and shoestrings, such as many of the field. I think Quentin Johnston illustrates that well, where a lot of these alpha RB teams have been running really, really pure with QJ 15-point weeks and
Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, well, dude, Demarcus Robinson. I actually have 25 Demarcus Robinson teams, and even I'm like rolling an eye when like Puka Nacua gets interfered with and he punches it in for a touchdown.
Well, you know what happened to Demarcus Robinson?
Oh, the DUI, yes.
He got arrested for a DUI, bro. So
I don't think that's
you'd really hate to see him get suspended in week 17. You'd really hate to see it.
I mean,
what a bummer that would be.
I understand your sentiment, but that seems incredibly unlikely based on everything we've ever seen. Like, unless...
Oh, yeah, no, he's not going to be suspended till next year.
No, yeah. Unless McVay just has like a personal thing.
Right.
Where he's just like, no, we don't roll with that.
We don't do that here.
But I mean, Jordan Addison, like, is he even getting a 3-game suspension this year? Like, wasn't that supposed to occur for him?
It was, basically the way I remember discussing it is it could basically happen at any time, but it sounds like it is not happening yet. So it'll probably happen next year.
Okay, yeah. I mean, because that was one where when drafting him, right, he took like a 2-round drop pretty much. And people with just the expectation that he would get suspended for 3 weeks, maybe weeks, like who knows when. And I guess that could still hit for the fantasy playoffs, which would stink for the Addison pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it could literally happen at any time. But I haven't heard an update about it in forever.
Yeah, a little bit other news to get to before we jump into talking about more best ball specific things is... Number one, Daniel Jones is now on the practice squad of the Vikings. So what that means is obviously he can be elevated to the Vikings team, maybe a little Sam Darnold on a hot seat. And also, if Daniel Jones allows it and another team tries to sign him, he can go to them. But
he can go to them.
He does not. No one can force him to go to their team if he does not want to go there. Yeah. I thought the Raiders would have made a lot of sense, but I really think what Daniel Jones should do is just assess what teams look like next year and then go to the spot where he has either the best chance of being a starter or go back up, Josh Allen, Mahomes, whoever will take him and like take a Mitch Trubisky year and hope you get one more shot.
It sounds like what he wanted was from his representation, it sounded like he wanted to go somewhere to someone who's going to be in the playoffs as opposed to like a Raiders situation where he can go and play, which I think is smart. Because if you're Daniel Jones, you do the Mitch Trubisky thing where you go and rehab your image. You go play with a coach that everyone loves, and then you end up getting. Where's Trubisky, the backup now? Is he still with the Bills?
Well, he was with Buffalo, right? He backed them. Yeah, he's back with Buffalo. But
Buffalo.
he backed up Josh Allen for a year, and then I forget who gave him. So he was a starter.
He got
again.
paid. He got paid like $12 million or something.
Yeah, he was a starter again, flamed out again, and now he's backing up the Bills. And Daniel Jones,
why can I not remember?
He makes sense as a Josh Allen backup just because
Pittsburgh. Obviously, it was Pittsburgh.
Similar enough body type, or like Daniel Jones at a ceiling. You're hoping he can be like Josh Allen. Obviously, he's not going to pan out at this stage. Major injuries from this past week. J.K. Dobbins is the big one that comes to mind. He looks like he is missing. I've seen estimations like some on the optimistic side, at least this week. More realistic side, maybe looking like 4 weeks. So Gus Edwards bags looking alive. Kamani Vidal, perhaps.
Vidal is just bad. He just is not very good. Which is, I mean, he'll definitely get some chances. I think the limiting factor will be Edwards is going to get all the green zone stuff. He'll get all the red zone stuff. I mean, they were even giving Hassan Haskins, I believe, has more rushes inside the 5. Vidal has 0 rushes inside the 5, and I think Haskins has 4 or 5 rushes inside the 5. Yeah, Haskins played this last week after Dobbins went down because Vidal was on the practice squad. Vidal will get called up from the practice squad. I think Vidal is going to end up playing passing downs is basically what's going to happen.
Best thing Vidal has going for him is Gus Edwards. Like, why was Haskins playing so much? Because Gus Edwards literally cannot be a pass catching running back, which is part of the Chargers offense. Gus did get some short yardage, but Haskins has gotten a lot of goal line. So, Gus is not even that valuable, probably still, unless he runs really hot on touchdowns, which Chargers playoff schedule, games against New England, Denver still a little running back susceptible there. Herbert's playing awesome. Other injuries where we don't know the severity is like Josh Downs.
Sounds like Downs is going to miss at least this week. So if you're out there, here's a hack for you. If you're in the FFPC, Mitchell got dropped in a ton of these leagues. I'll be bidding on him a good bit tonight because even with Richardson, he's so good. He's so good at getting open. I think you still want to have him on some of these teams. How many teams did you get through in FFPC?
I got blanked on the main events. I only did 3, but I have a RT Sports. I'm in the playoffs at 4 out of 6, but RT Sports does a little bit different where this is the last week to make it. So could go either way. And the thing about the FFPC ones is if AD Mitchell was dropped recently, you can't even pick him up, right?
He's blanked.
Post week 12 or something.
Yeah.
How many you get in there?
I got 2 with my co-owner group of guys that we've been doing it forever. My 1 with Pete and Corain and Gretch got through. I got my 1 through what do they call it? The Fantasy Pros Championship, the $350 through. I got that one through on points, which is so funny. Got through with 4 wins on points, which is really funny. And then got 2 absolute monsters brewing on NFC if and when that starts. But I mean, their playoff is so big, it's such a crapshoot.
Well, good luck you feel good about the main events?
No, my teams are awful. I mean, my main event teams are just as bad as my best ball teams. The thing is people are so bad at the main event. It's like, dude, if I was a millionaire, I would find a way to max enter the main event or something because it is the softest. It's the softest.
You would be like, let me just rake 10% of this off the top.
Yeah, because it's just people are so like I mean, dude, I'm telling you, like I have teams with 2nd round Mark Andrews that made the playoffs. Like I'm telling you, people are just
Schroeder in it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, no disrespect to those guys, but I don't think a lot of the high volume FFPC grinders are not particularly knowledgeable or good at game theory or anything.
Yeah, they're not Utica. They're not.
They're not
optimal.
Utica. Yeah. So I think it's the softest form of high stakes fantasy football you can play in any format. Like if you want to play for $1 million on DraftKings, you are playing against Utica. There's no way around it. You are not playing against Utica in the main event.
Osmo hit $1 million this week, right?
Osmo hit $1 million this week.
I mean,
Yeah,
retired too. Just bink the 555.
Just vibing. Yeah. So the teams I got through are not even particularly good, but you know,
I had a really good one that started with Bijan and Kyron, and just like Jaden Reed was disappointing, you know, like I don't know, just like Jaden Reed, man, like the whiplash of him from being like, yeah, okay, this guy's gonna be like, he was going as a 2nd round pick in the resurrection drafts, and like I think injuries is partially it, but he has done nothing the last month or so.
It is the team volume thing. They just want to run the ball. So if they're not getting pushed, I mean, they back-to-back games running fewer than 50 plays on offense. They are just chilling, and they are content to hand the ball off to Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson if need be. And you know, one of the things is like we all got really in on Jordan Love, but I think the Packers pretty clearly view him like they do not view him that dissimilarly to like a Sam Darnold. They're like, we can't let this guy do too much. When we let this guy do too much, we open ourselves up to mistakes, which Jordan Love.
I don't know, man. I think that's just partially the scheme, you know, like
sure. Yeah,
even like Pat Mahomes in a Shanahan scheme is not going to be corking it back 50 times. And
that
also
that would be really funny to imagine. What would Mahomes look like?
Well, Love is our best answer for that. Like, what does like an elite quarterback look like in a Shanahan scheme? And it's because like I think Love, you know, is like probably one of, you know, easily top 3 quarterback in the NFC, if not top 1, probably top 1, right? Who's your number 1 quarterback in the NFC? Like Hurts is very dominating in what he does.
Number 1 quarterback in the NFC.
Stafford. It's got to be Love, right?
No, I take Hurts. I think that I totally get the
Hurts is very unique, right? He's a dominating
that's the
force.
thing. He's
a dominating
unique.
Force, yeah.
You can't think about him the way you think about Patrick Mahomes or Jordan Love or even Josh Allen. He's a different style. He's just a different style of player.
Josh Allen if Josh Allen ran more and was stronger.
And less accurate on on short and intermediate. But I would say Hurts is maybe the best deep passer of that group. Like you when he uncorks those 60-yarders to AJ Brown, you just know like, oh dude, that's gonna get in the area. You know what I'm saying?
Partially that's because they're defending Jalen Hurts and not Mahomes, not Allen, right? Like, so who you are matters for that a little bit. Other very minor news here. Greg Dulcich on the Giants, so maybe there's a little bit of life there.
I drafted so much Greg Dulcich, and honestly, if you think about it, the thesis to why Dulcich was a good pick has totally played out. They have not had a reliable second wide receiver. Bo Nix has been way better than expected. They could really use a receiving tight end, but apparently, I mean, I guess we should know this. Like Dulcich just has no dog. The dog at Dulcich is at absolute 0.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, the thing that the Broncos are doing that was hard to anticipate is they are having a rotation of 7 wide receivers rather than like involving.
That was very Saintsy though. That was very, very Sean Payton, very Saintsy, don't you think?
I mean, the market was still the fact that the market was drafting so many, like 4 Broncos wide receivers in like a steady clip, shows that was not the anticipation. Because if you thought Davon Bailey and all these other guys were getting in there, you would have been like, okay, I'm not going to draft a guy in a timeshare for a possibly bad quarterback. Any other injury news I'm missing?
I mean, Breece Hall is not practicing. They said that he got banged up. It seems like
on the bye week too, right? Like
Well, he said he got injured against the Colts. But it sounds like we're heading towards shut him down season. I mean, we got Rodgers going on fucking McAfee and saying, I don't even know if I want to play football next year.
Well, yeah, we got conflicting reports there where someone was like, we were getting the rumor that they were just going to cut Rodgers. They were going to Daniel Jones him. And then you got Rodgers being like, no, I want to be a Jet if I play for anyone. And yeah, I said that's what I've been saying, that like Brees could definitely be shut down. He and Garrett Wilson are the worst non-injured guys in the first round easily. Which I guess we could have.
Justin Jefferson might be joining them pretty soon.
I mean,
this Justin Jefferson shit, man, just tilting the piss out of me, because it's one thing. It's one thing to be like, oh, you're an idiot for ever having drafted Jefferson because obviously Darnold was going to play bad. I mean, Darnold's just been good. There's just no, like, say whatever you want about Sammy.
So good that Daniel Jones is the insurance.
I mean, I think that's just a smart move by them, right?
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just insanely tilting. Like, watching a 40-yard Justin Jefferson touchdown get wiped off the board when Chase Brown is on bye. I mean, that's just my season right there. Like, I'm not getting saved by a hero 27-pointer from Chase Brown just at the end. Although I think I did spike an extra couple of teams through this last week.
Well, and the worst part of it is the Bears almost won against the Vikings. So teams are going to look at that and be like, okay, yeah, let's make the other guys beat us, because it almost worked. Pretty much everyone picked up a little bit of advance rate due to the fact that Chase was on bye. Is really what happened here. CMC up to a very nice 4.2%. CD Lamb, not dead, man, right? Like,
not dead. No, Cooper Rush is okay.
Yeah, he's getting spammed with targets. He's not the ideal. Tyreek, hard to, like, injuries definitely playing a role here. But
the offense is different. It's like it's these like 8 to 11 play drives with they get to 3rd and 3 a bunch.
Jonnu Smith is the king is the issue.
It's just like Jonnu to get down to the 6-yard line, then run one of the bullshit McDaniel plays, and A-Chain walks in untouched for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Here's Liam, I got a good question for you. Knowing what you know about the sweaty virgins on Underdog Fantasy, who's going to be the 101, A-Chain or Barkley next year?
I mean, I think it should be Chase, but it's like, I don't think Saquon's not going to be the 101. Like, he's going to be the 102, 103. I just don't think consensus 101. I mean, I get maybe he will be, because I guess the market always wants that running. Like,
the market. I mean, CMC was a 28-year-old running back who was the 101 this year over Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek, CD.
But like, I think the lesson of, oh, Saquon and A-Chan are awesome, so they should be the 101 is not the right lesson. We're going to look at this. The real lesson is the Chases, the Jeffersons, the Amon-Ra's. There are so few of these guys. Like, I would take Nico Collins.
No, they're so, like, that's the thing, because running wide receivers have been so bad. The good wide receivers, like even the 17 points per game wide receivers, which in a normal year is like the wide receiver 11 or something. Like Chase and Jefferson and St. Brown and AJ Brown are so valuable this year, because like there are a bunch of wide receivers averaging.
You have
like
Quentin Johnston and Demarcus Robinson as your wide
Yeah.
receiver. Yeah, like for some of these teams. So like, yeah, like I would still take the true difference-making wide receivers, because, okay, Kenneth Walker's not Saquon, but he's hitting your lineup. James Cook is not Saquon, but he's hitting your lineup. And there's really not that, like, flip parallel, right? Like, okay, DJ Moore gave us a week finally. DK Metcalf's in there. JSN is coming on. But, there's so many, like, wide receivers later in these rounds. AJ Brown one of the clearest guys to want for like leverage reasons off of Saquon. They can both get there in a game, as this past week shown. But, like if AJ Brown can drop 40 week
I wonder
17.
if one of the reasons why AJ Brown's advance rate is just right at average and not any better is that he's paired with a bunch of shitters. If you look at who was on the reverse side of that pick, it was a bunch of terrible, terrible picks. Bunch of guys who've been injured, bunch of guys who sucked.
I pulled the second and third round wideouts, and so much like no one is positive advance rate. I mean, AJ Brown obviously missed time is the big reason here, but no, you're right? Like and also AJ Brown has had like, he had week 1, he had a great game. This past week, he scored a touchdown, and then
he's got 3 games with over 110 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, which is like nice. It's nice. It's like sun god levels. It's not killing it, and he's in the top 10 in receiving yards off of like 35 receptions. Like just clearly going to smash. If like I really like if AJ Brown's quarterback was like prime Matt Ryan or Joe
my
Burrow.
God, can you imagine a season with him? I mean, even Flacco. Like imagine him playing with Flacco.
People would more often consider him in the 101 of wide receivers versus Jefferson and Chase.
Yeah,
because like he's just so unique in he's so strong. He will run right through coverage and he can still make you miss.
100%. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Ryan Tannehill was semi-mobile. Jalen Hurts is obviously very mobile. So yeah, like a Stafford, any quarterback like that can put up like 4,500 plus yards. AJ Brown, just my God. Bijan, still gets Washington week 17. Brees Hall might be getting shut down here. Did Monroe get banged up this past week? Shoulder or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine though.
He's fine. Okay.
But yeah, I it's just one of the, and him, I mean, Montgomery's limited practice too, but
I mean, a lot of this stuff's so binary, right? It's like, okay, you took Chase, no problem. You took Jefferson, you got to really fight uphill to get to the playoffs, right? You took a Monroe.
That's an above average advance rate.
No, I know, but like, I mean, I had a main event team with Jefferson instead of Chase, and it's just like you do the math easily. Yeah. Chase team makes it, Jefferson does not. Gibbs, David Montgomery shoulder injury.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that like it feels like Gibbs is having a really good season, but his advance rate, still
it's
not
heavy
great.
Correlation with Ayuk, heavy correlation with Debo, who I mean, Ayuk would have smashed just because he's not Debo levels of cooked. I mean, Debo
okay. Here's a question I have. I mean, obviously, like the Debo pick is like not worked out, and it's not going to work out. It's a 0. The 49ers will probably be done playing by the fantasy football playoffs. Is it the pneumonia? That's really the only, like, he looked pretty good in week 1. He scored the 80-yard touchdown against the Seahawks in week 5 or 6 or whatever. But like, it's very hard for me to believe a player who's been as good as he has been for so long is just like, I mean, this dude looks like Demarcus Robinson. He looks like he cannot move.
I mean, possibly, right? Like injury reporting has gotten worse.
So
Yes, that seems logical to me. He's also getting older, right? He's not super old. He's like, I think he's 28.
No, I believe he's 29.
He's 29. And I mean, you look at him and he just looks fatter.
No,
right?
He turns 29 in January. Yeah, I mean, he looks awful.
He looks bigger, and I don't know. Like, I think he really needs a guy like Ayuk to open the field for him, like a guy who can stress you vertically. Where Juwan Jennings is awesome, he's still not Brandon Ayuk in that sense. And I mean, CMC is doing worse this year too. I think the 49ers just pushed themselves too hard. But I don't know. Maybe that is a sign to buy the Debo dip if he's going to be like a 7th round pick.
I mean, I think we could probably see him go later than that. If he's 29 years old and Ayuk is back and Jennings is back, and like let's say Pearsall kind of has like a good end to the year, and Kittle's healthy, yada yada, revenge tour.
Zeroed the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think maybe Pearsall's not that good actually, but he wasn't a very good player in college. But I don't know. I guess so much about next year feels unknown to me because people are going to react so strongly to what happens in the fantasy playoffs. Like, can you imagine Barkley is bad in that game against the Steelers? Like, imagine Barkley in that game against the Steelers gets like 16 dog out points.
You talking about week 17 right now, or
no, week 15? Week 15.
Week 15. Yeah,
because he plays Dallas in week 17 and he's got, I think, the Commanders in week 16. So he's going to kill those teams. But you could see the Eagles just kind of struggle against the Steelers. Lots of teams kind of struggle against the Steelers. Derrick Henry got 16 against the Steelers.
Especially if AJ Brown misses time again, because like he is the guy who opens it up for Saquon, right? Where, I mean, and dude, Saquon just like getting there in garbage time, adding another like 10 points to his, I mean, obviously a good score with like 20 points or whatever. But then, past couple weeks, it's been like, and I'm going to tack on an 80-yard touchdown run. Just classic right there. Puka,
it's very tilting.
Easy guy to like. I only have one Puka team that I think is going to make it. Such a clean sweat, right? And I feel, I had him ranked as the 106 before injury. Again, a binary thing. You were right to be high on Puka for anyone out there, right? He is doing better than he was last year for target share and everything. But you missed that much time, it doesn't matter, right? And that's the game we play.
How crazy is it that these teams actually get CMC back? And it just doesn't matter. I mean, that is a real kick in the dick. Because like I had that one CMC team that was like in third place by like 4 points or whatever. And then I was like, oh my God, this is a monster. And it's like, no, CMC is just Jordan Mason. He's getting like 9 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, but like, he's still CMC. He could still have, like not every team's going to be Green Bay in the ability to just like put the Niners away. Niners are now in playoff mode. They still have a very nutted schedule in the playoffs where Rams, Miami, Detroit, right? Like these are all shootout variety games. So still could see CMC make his mark. Garrett Wilson would not feel good about any Garrett Wilson teams.
No, that is shut it down season.
Yeah. Amon-Ra, you never really think of him, but you could easily see him just, being the guy week 17 against San Fran.
Yeah,
some
no
slot
doubt.
wide receivers have given them fits in the past. And Tyreek too, man. Like Tyreek against the Browns, maybe, if it's not Jonnu. Quarterback, Lamar scored a touchdown. Only picked up 0.5% just because he's advancing so high already. Allen, Allen's having a fine year, but I kind of talked about this a lot in the offseason where the Bills were in playoff mode starting in week 10 last year. And that's when we saw Josh Allen run a lot. He's done that in a couple games. He's not rushing the same amount this year because you don't want your aging quarterback to be taking hits week in and week out if you can avoid it. So that's why that coupled with, Lamar and Hurts just being straight up better picks as far as points scored so far, and a lot of guys doing well late, such as Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Daniels, etc., is why Allen is done. And Allen is paired with terrible pieces in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall a lot more than his peers. Whereas like Lamar's paired with Nico, that's nice. Josh Allen's paired with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, not as nice, right? Hurts really, the Eagles as a whole just really turning it on as of late. Hurts himself is leverage off of Saquon, which is nice if you get some Hurts teams into the playoffs. Mahomes had a good... Dude, talk to me about your emotions of this Chiefs team struggling against the Panthers.
Oh, I mean, I was actively rooting for the Panthers to score. Every time the Panthers scored, that meant a greater chance of a Chiefs touchdown on the other end, which is exactly what happened. So that was perfect. Yeah, I want the defense to be worse. I mean, to let Chris Jones rest until the playoffs, to let Warren is out. or Justin Watson is out. So yeah, more of that, please. Yeah, let the defense stink. The big issue right now is they can't keep Mahomes clean. The offensive line is as bad as it's ever been. So
particularly the tackles, right?
Yeah. The right tackle is okay. It's this left tackle, Wanya Morris, who just is ass. So they signed DJ Humphreys.
Yeah, they signed someone as like insurance.
And I would imagine they probably end up starting him for real because this guy's been awful. So Mahomes' advance rate creeping up. I mean, keep doing it, Pat. Although I'm wondering, looking at my stuff, I wonder if I actually would prefer him to stop and just have my non-Mahomes teams. Yeah, right now I'm only advancing one Mahomes team. So I think I would actually maybe prefer them to stop. Maybe I should just want them to quit it.
I'm advancing no Allen teams in BBM. I have some higher stakes ones with him, but I'm the same. It's funny that way where you're like, oh, like Gus Edwards. I drafted like 20 shares of Gus Edwards. None are making it. So you would think like, oh, go Gus Edwards, but it's like, no, I'm not gonna get those in.
My lone advancing Mahomes team has Kadarius Toney on it.
I have a Mahomes Justin Watson team. I got to see how many Justin Watson teams there are out there. He's got to be very low.
That's a good question.
45 are making it, 600 drafted.
Like basically, I mean, I guess I have some Mahomes teams that are close. They're like, well, actually, no, I don't. Honestly, so I would prefer for Pat to chill out.
Well, and the Chiefs have not one troll player in Kareem Hunt, but a second emerging in Noah Gray to just like steal all the touchdowns, you know? Lamar, the nuts so far. Really nice week 17 matchup against the Texans as well.
Yeah, look, man, Lamar is awesome. Lamar, I sure wish I could trade every Kelsey Mahomes for a Lamar Andrews. I tell you what.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, the lesson there is like if you can foresee a defense going to, just a terrible levels and they have a good quarterback, right? Like Josh Allen and Mahomes with bottom 5 defenses is a different story than Josh Allen and Mahomes with top 5 defenses, right? So, yes, good defenses get you the ball more, but teams that like unless your coach is Dan Campbell, teams in the modern age are not trying to win 50-10, right?
No, they really are not.
They're trying to get out there with like 30-15. Richardson teams are live, man. He's running more.
I was going to say Richardson could definitely be kind of it's just harder at quarterback because it's so hard to separate. But
he gets the Giants.
I was going to say you could definitely tell a story where Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs is what you needed in week 17. That's definitely true.
Or just Richardson himself, right?
Yeah.
Stroud, incredibly disappointing. Has a bye upcoming, but still gets the Ravens.
Stroud being disappointing was the most obvious. Like that was very easy to see. We've seen this happen. Trevor Lawrence did it. Joe Burrow did it.
Him and Mahomes are the same deal
Justin Herbert did it. Yeah, no, exact same. Where it is so hard for these pocket passers to pay off. They have to run crazy hot on efficiency. They have to get in like the actual games have to go their way. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense can't play that good, and Joe Burrow is having that season right now. Joe Burrow is having the season where because his defense stinks and they've gotten into some huge shootout games, it's worked out for him. I mean, Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud are the same guy for fantasy basically, but Burrow was much cheaper and his weapons have not died. Obviously like a Diggs Stroud team is like deader than dead,
Yeah. Kyler is I would be very excited to show up.
Throw a fucking touchdown, dude. He just
I'd be very excited still to show up to week 17 with Kyler to Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Like just get some positive touchdown regression there. Love as well. I'd be excited against the Vikings. They're a good defense, but you can pass on them. Joe Burrow is doing Joe Burrow things. I should probably replace Dak with Purdy. I try not to pull the injured guys. And then Caleb, man, no longer looking as dead as he used to be. right? Like gets the Seahawks week 17.
Gonna score a bunch of points this week, I think.
Yeah. Against the Lions. Yeah.
That one has been good for me. I was very overweight on the Bears situation. Like I've got a ton of DJ Moore.
I did not start that way with DJ Moore particularly. Like I was doing Mike Evans over him, and then that kind of flipped in August where I was like getting excited about Caleb.
Wow, we have a weekly winner. Bill Sager in the chat won weekly winners.
Congrats, Bill.
If you want
to be a weekly winner, subscribe to our channels like Bill.
That's what I'm saying.
Daniels looking healthy.
Yeah, so I kind of had I guess maybe I kind of had a hot take on that. I didn't think he did look that good. I thought that
I was in the airport for that game, so I didn't.
So he looked awful in the first half, like really, really bad, and then kind of just turned it on. I mean, he really turned it on with the running. But I like for fantasy, do you really want to advance a Daniels team? I don't know. I mean, I guess like the running is just so pure and he's so good at it, but like that game was he was pretty close to having like 13 points in that game.
I think. Well, so I think a lot of people think the rib injury is why he's been.
No, it is the rib injury. Yeah,
and he has a week 14 bye too, right?
Yes, he does.
Right. So yeah, that's after the bye could be. Hey, we got week 7 in here too. Congrats, Adam.
Wow.
Post bye, maybe we see a different story here. Tight end. Andrew scored a touchdown, so that helped.
How many touchdowns does he? Does he have like 8 touchdowns now?
I know he's like the worst good pick where he's like.
Mark Andrews now has 6 touchdowns.
McBride, man, I would be so excited for. I just think McBride is due, man. He's gonna get those touchdowns.
Just imagine what society would be like in a world where Trey McBride registered touchdowns. I mean, he is the only tight end this season with multiple 100-yard games, more TDs than yeah. Somehow that is true.
Laporta, man. I mean, like, just seems dead. Like very bizarrely dead.
He dropped a touchdown last week. Like they called one of those Ben Johnson plays, and he just dropped it, man. He just it was crazy.
Thank you. I don't know if this is for my channel or Davis's, but thank you either way.
I believe yours because I think he's already a member of my channel.
Appreciate you, Rhino. Laporta, yeah, I mean, like, okay, Laporta, Kincaid, 2 disappointing advance rate guys. Different stories,
man.
Pitts as well. Different stories for all 3, though, right? Laporta, it's really the emergence of Jameson Williams.
And the running back scoring 2 touchdowns every game. Like give half the running back touchdowns to him. And
Laporta had 10 touchdowns last year, and the Lions defense is better. So again, we see defense play a role. Kincaid actually is like one of the top target share guys on his team, but injured, missed 2 games, got concussed, missed another one. And he's like running like a deeper A-dot role. So I still think the booms could be there, but there's obviously been a very low floor. Pitts, he's like kind of like Kincaid too. Boom bust, hasn't missed any time. But Pitts, you could really like Pitts if this Darnell Mooney injury is serious. Kelsey totally fine. Obviously, some risk that they rest him down the stretch if they lock up the 1 seed, but I don't know. I don't. Yeah.
No. They can't. They can't get the. They can't
get
the.
If they lock up the 1 seed, like if the Bills like drop a game to the Lions or something like that.
Even then, they would still not be able to rest until week 18 because the Bills are going to get. The Bills are going to get the 49ers without Purdy. Then they're going to do the Rams. So let's say they lose that game to the Lions. Well, they're definitely going to beat the Patriots and the Jets. So they can't rest any. They could have the 1 seed locked up. Well, so the Jets and the Bills play at noon, December 29th. that's their game. When do the Chiefs play? Because if the Chiefs play the day after, they could theoretically rest the whole group.
Yeah, so like he's getting the targets, but the pass volume's not there for the team.
The Chiefs play the Steelers before. So the Chiefs play the Steelers on, I believe they are the Thursday night game. They're the Christmas game, and the Bills don't play. So the Bills don't play till 4 days later. So I don't think so. I don't think unless
unlikely, but there is possible. Like what if the Bills lose to the Rams and the Lions? Like there are cases where the Chiefs have it locked up. Kittle, just a
I think
smash.
it's more likely the Bills have the 1 seed.
Honestly, I think that like if I had to place a bet for the 1 seed, I would bet on Buffalo. Just seems like the Chiefs are gonna drop a game or two. But
no, I agree.
Kittle, just a smash, especially in touchdowns.
Maybe not a smash to end the year though, because if the 49ers lose to the Bills, are they dead for the playoffs?
I don't know, dude, because the Seattle is like the 3 seed at what, like 6 and 5. So
let me pull up the playoff probabilities.
NFC playoff standings is like Eagles and Lions, and then everyone else is terrible.
So right now,
so it's like it's kind of hard to be dead. Yeah, the Seattle's the 3 seed at 6 and 5.
So the athletic model has 50% Cardinals. So basically, they're saying the Cardinals are likely to win the division. 50% playoff probability for the Cardinals. 30% playoff probability for the Seahawks. 20% for the Rams, and the 49ers at 14% playoff probability.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say 2 things there. Number one, probability is probability, but you know, you look at the Seattle at the 3 seed at 6 and 5, you're 5 and 6. That's a 2-game difference there. Number 2, I don't see Kyle Shanahan as a guy who's like, hey, we're out of the playoffs, let's shut it down. You know, like,
well, if they're all dead though, you know what I'm saying?
I just don't
like
see.
If Purdy's injured and CMC has the Achilles, and what is Kittle's thing? Is
when
Kittle's...
has logic won out with him ever? You know, it wasn't logical to be playing CMC in huge blowouts last year.
I'm not saying Kittle is a bad pick. I'm just gaming it out. Here's the real reality. There was one tight end this year who was a good pick. His name is Brock Bowers. Everyone else has been mediocre.
Kittle's been an awesome pick. What do you mean? Kittle has the same advance rate at a more expensive cost than Bowers.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
And I guess both benefited from injury because Kittle lost Ayuk and Bowers lost Devontae.
Kittle's missed 2 games with injury, right?
Yeah, he's missed more time than Bowers too. Ingram, what I'd say there is Trevor Lawrence was practicing this week. So
yeah, why? I mean, I guess that is a...
The throw did not look good, I saw, though. He threw it right into the dirt.
It's funny. You know, we definitely think of football differently than these guys do. Like, we look at, like, well, why would they play? And the answer is, Jonnu. Jonnu is a good one from
Trey McBride's a good pick, too, right? Like, touchdowns are touchdowns, but...
Yeah, Kraft was a good one. If you took McBride, I know McBride has a below average advance rate, but, like, you're fine with McBride, obviously.
No, I feel good. Like, I got some McBride teams. I'm very excited for those.
If you could have one tight end on an advancing team, you'd take Kittle over Bowers.
Well, I mean, I think the clear choices are Njoku, Bowers, Kittle, McBride. And then depending how desperate they are, Kelsey may be in there.
Man.
You know, and then like the cheaper guys like John, who's looking very appealing, you know?
Yeah. Can I transfer the Noah Gray touchdowns to Kelsey? My God.
Njoku, you got to be feeling good about, right? Like Jameis is throwing the rock. Hawkinson looking good too. And Otten. Yeah, there's a lot of good late round tight ends. Anything else you want to say on these tight ends?
It's just so funny to me that
Goddard's just holding steady.
It has not ever done anything. He had the one game, he had the 10 for 160 game, but he's correlated with Hurts and he's correlated with Barkley. So yeah, that is just very funny.
So this is the 2nd and 3rd round wide receivers advance rates. I pulled this before the Ravens game, so Zay Flowers will be even a little bit lower than what He truly is. But, okay, you look at this list. Everyone is negative advance rate except for Kupp, Mike Evans, who missed a lot of time, DK Metcalf, who missed a lot of time, DJ Moore looking better after his one game, and then Tank Dell, man. Like, I don't even understand how Tank Dell is at 8.2% in a healthy season, below Michael Pittman, below Marvin Harrison, who's a second round.
Well, he has no spikes.
He had He had one spike, I think.
Was it above 20 points? I don't think so.
No, he scored a touchdown 1 week in DFS, and I was like, oh, I should have.
2024 Tank Dell fantasy points. Let's see. I honestly, first off, I do not remember this game.
He scored a touchdown 1 week.
I'm not saying you're wrong. He had against the Jets, he had 6 for. He had 6 for 126.
680 and 1. Right.
No touchdown. No touchdown that game. His high on the season and half PPR is 18.7 against the Patriots.
Where he scored, what, a touchdown that week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he also is correlated with Stroud, who's one of the worst advance rate pieces, and you were taking him over Derrick Henry. So I don't know. That spot's just.
We should correlate with Henry somewhat. What I would say about Dell is, I mean, obviously he broke his leg this past year
and got shot.
His advanced separation stats are starting to look good. I think you could see a real big resurgence post-bye for him, right? Where week 13, week 14, week 13, whatever this week, but then post-bye, the Texans just lost to the Titans. They're going to look at themselves and be like, and by the way, Joe Mixon averaged like 1.5 yards per carry. They're going to look at themselves and be like, you know what? We need to run. There's no Diggs walking through here. We need to run this through Nico and Tank. And Nico's clearly number one, but I could see Tank having a strong playoff stretch at very low advance rate. So I would be excited for Tank teams. Malik Neighbors seems utterly dead. What whiplash there?
What if Drew Lock resurrects his bags?
They don't want to win games though.
Yeah.
Devontae seems dead. Kupp getting garbage time touchdowns.
Kupp leads the National Football League in expected fantasy points per game at wide receivers.
Well, and I think Stafford in games they're like game blown out. He's like, yeah, I'll get Kupp one more touchdown. Why not? You know, like that's what happened this past week.
Breakfast Club is
Waddle performed.
Waddle with a better advance rate than Dell is objectively hilarious.
It's correlation with it's higher correlation with Chase is basically what these numbers are showing you, because Chase primarily
Kupp is showing you just the power of the what you should be taking away from this. The person at home is that 17 points is not valuable in 0.5 PPR. The thing that's valuable is the mega spikes, the 28 pointers. That is what is extremely 17 valuable.
Points is pretty valuable when other guys are giving you 5 points, 3 points in Debo's case. And Mike Evans and Metcalf are showing you how valuable 17 points is because
those guys each have at least one mega spike.
But they score touchdowns to start the year. I
mean, that's the higher order lesson. The lesson of about what I just said is 0.5 PPR is a game about touchdowns.
Yeah. And Kupp's done that. Nico clearly would be 25% plus. Honestly, he'd probably be 40.
I was going to say, would he be if he had not gotten injured, would he be the number one wide receiver advance rate?
I mean, it was. If he was producing like Chase, yes, because he correlates with Chase correlates with Nix and Sutton, which are doing well, but Nico correlates with Henry and Lamar and Flowers, right? So it's smash. I mean, Nico also correlates with Diggs, obviously out for the year. DJ Moore not looking as dead. Kind of weird. He has this really short ADOT screen roll, but he's producing. Getting less target share though than Keenan and Rome Odunze off the offensive coordinator change. So it's
his targets are better though.
You like these short 8-out ones?
I mean, because he's like one of the best yards after catch guys in the entire NFL. It's kind of who he's always been.
He's always been a deep ball.
No,
guy
that's why I was talking about this with Crane the other day. That is why I have always been a DJ Moore guy. He's got that great skill set where he can turn the short stuff into points. He can convert these screens and stuff into points in a way that like Wan'Dale Robinson can't, but he also is a great deep threat. So he just has that great target diet of like, he can score a 70-yard deep touchdown, or he can score a 55-yard touchdown where he takes a screen to the house. He is, yeah, as a Ja'Marr Chase guy, you should be a big DJ Moore guy. They're very similar in that way.
That's, with all due respect to DJ Moore, he's not Ja'Marr Chase. Khalil Shakir actually leads the league in yak. Isn't that funny?
Amon Shah, they call him.
Yeah. Devonta Smith dealing with a hamstring injury, but low-owned Devonta Smith has made his mark before in the fantasy finals.
He dude. I mean, you want to talk about leverage on Barkley?
Yeah. He correlates more with Barkley just because Barkley kind of lived at the 2-3 turn.
ADP wise. Yeah.
Yeah. Flowers, very appealing, low floor, high spike week potential guy. I Pittman just like didn't live in the third round is why he's higher, but I don't know. I don't want anything to do with Michael Pittman.
Same.
And then the nice thing about Metcalf is like Tyler Lockett looks dead. So
yeah,
it's Metcalf, it's JSN.
True.
You and I are advancing the worst team known to man.
This is literally like, dude, I would if someone presented me this team, like, oh, dude, I got this sick team in BBM, I wouldn't buy this team for $3. This team is ass. This team is terrible.
Number one, I don't think it's gonna make the playoffs. Like, there's
you know what? I don't think so either.
There's like 5 teams like within a point of us, but okay, smash quarterback duo, Burrow and Herbert. Good running backs, Kyron, Montgomery, Rico, Bucky, Braylon, fine as well, especially if Brees goes down. And then Chase, no,
dead.
Wicks,
alive
Leggett,
for this week, yeah.
Wicks, Leggett, Yoshi Voss, and then you had to get Brennan Rice on this one.
The funny thing is the Rice thesis has played out where DJ Shark has been a total non-factor.
He got hurt, man. He got hurt like a week before the season started. That had to play a role there.
He's healthy now and losing snaps to Jalen Reagor. So Shark has been a total non-factor. Hayden Hurst, the quote-unquote receiving tight end, has done nothing.
He's on IR again.
The Chargers have been a positive PROE team. Like everything that would have needed to hit for Brennan Rice, and then it just doesn't matter because he's terrible.
And then good tight ends, McBride and Ferguson. I mean, Ferguson obviously worse now, hasn't scored a touchdown. Both these guys are near the league leaders in yards gained, but no touchdown. Yeah. So Olave for sure out for the year?
I guess I don't know. I mean, he's on the IR. I would be surprised if he came back.
Hollywood.
This team, if this team makes it, it would be Leggett. Leggett would be how it gets there.
I mean, it's just like it cannot win because it's like unless these running backs just each give us like 40 points. It's just only Chase, only Wicks, only Leggett, only Yoshi Voss, who might lose his job to Jermaine Burton off the bye. Right? Like that could definitely happen.
I don't think that's happening. I think Jermaine Burton is it now he's just like playing poorly. Like he's getting on the field and not earning targets at all.
Yeah, I guess.
But look at this running back room. Like Brees is hurt now, so we've got Kyron, Montgomery, Dowdle, Bucky, and Braylon with 2 nutted quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this team does advance and we get a min cash out of it.
Well, and the story of this team is the story of a lot of teams where it's like Prince, Brendan Rice, zeros, but you were drawing a very narrow path to hit on a bunch of late round picks, right? Like for anyone out there, right? Like, okay, the nutted late round pick is some combo of Bucky Irving, Tyrone Tracy, Jonnu Smith and Kate Otten, and Isaiah Likely, you waited for 3 tight ends, you hit those 2 running backs. That was like the only way to do it, because like even Andre Yoshivas, you're like, yeah, okay, I got on Trey Tucker.
He contributed 53 points to this roster. I mean, that's embarrassing.
This more than Rice. Like Trey Tucker. Mooney was not late round. Mooney was like a 12th round. Juwan Jennings barely drafted. Don't really count him.
Buddy, I wish I was.
Cedric Tillman barely drafted. Don't really count him. Elijah Moore. Okay, Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Is very Trey Tucker-esque, know. So just thought that team was funny.
I have Trey Tucker on a bunch of advancing teams.
Me too. Chase and Barkley, simply pairing these 2 guys together means you were advancing 83%. So only 17% managed not to advance that. People who had Chase Barkley and Derrick Henry, only 4% of people are managing not to advance that trio. Congrats if you are watching.
Yeah,
how was that? How'd you do that? Did you like tack on Diggs? You tacked on?
Nah, dude, that's a Mahomes team. That's a Mahomes Kelsey team. If I've ever
Mahomes,
seen one.
Stroud, Diggs,
Pacheco, maybe.
Yeah, Pacheco. I have some good teams that if Pacheco was a thing.
There are of the top 33 running backs drafted, there are 0 season-ending injuries.
Yeah, insane. And Pacheco, dude, would have been a smash if healthy.
Oh my god. You want to talk about people who should actually be tilted? I mean, obviously the Rice people should be tilted, but the Pacheco people should be like, this guy would have had 30 touchdowns. I mean, that guy would have been crushing Derrick Henry. He'd have scored 2 touchdowns a week.
But he's not like, Hunt just has no juice. So
None.
it's like he can move the chains, but Pacheco could at least break a long run.
Yes.
Someone asked me if you could pick 5 players you really want on your squads. I came up with Nico, Puka, Chase Brown, man, is only advancing at around 23%, which there's a lesson there.
Let me tell you why. It's only fucking slappy idiots like me who are taking Chase Brown. I bet Zach Moss's advance rate is close to Chase Brown because the Derrick Henry drafter was taking Zach Moss.
No, that's not why. It's because Chase Brown's production is weighted to the past
back-weighted
3 weeks or so. And so, all else equal, you would much prefer Chase Brown than a Derrick Henry just because he's barely advancing. And so when you can nail a guy who is a star and the production is back-weighted, that's very, very valuable in this game that we're playing. So like targeting a Chase Brown with a Moss, having a plotter, the plotter goes down. Yeah, Chase Brown league winner, right? Like that's what we're seeing. Tank Dell I only threw on here because I have belief will be better off the bye. And he's at 8.2% is like no one is advancing Tank Dell right now. Bucky Irving, man. Dude, the team's still doing this like post-buy stuff. It's like, so you can't give the guy a bigger workload before week 11. Week 11, he becomes the guy. White still played, but Bucky just getting all the targets there. I would add Trey McBride here, as a very appealing piece. Who's some guys for you, Davis?
1 second. Moss, by the way, despite being one of the worst picks on the board, a 13% advance rate because of the style of drafter who took him. The Zach Moss drafter was taking Derrick Henry.
Moss and Brown.
I mean, look, I was mixing a smidgen of that stuff in, but I'm just telling you, like run Moss with Henry and then Moss with like Rashee Rice or yes, yeah, do that. I'm curious in that. Henry,
Moss and Henry 3,600. Chase Brown and Henry.
It's gonna be like 1,000 total teams.
No, 20.
So 1,000 less teams. So I directionally accurate.
And part of that is because Henry lived at the 3-4 for most of the season.
Yeah.
And towards the end of August, Chase Brown chased up to the 8-9, which correlates with the 1-2 turn.
Yeah.
But when Chase Brown was going the 11th, it was a little bit different.
So if I could choose 5 players, Nico for sure. Well, Jefferson at an average or below average advance rate.
AJ Brown, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Him
AJ
too,
Brown.
right?
Yeah, I would go Jefferson first. Puka, I think, is good. Chase Brown. I mean, Chase Brown feels like. I mean, Chase Brown is going to be projected for more points than Derrick Henry every single week of the fantasy football playoffs. You probably won't actually outscore him even once, but just the way projections work. And I think he seems strong. Who else? Who would be my third?
Trey McBride, man, gets the Rams. I mean, Bucky Irving gets the Panthers, is why he's on here for me.
I think I would do the lowest advance rate of the running quarterbacks. So between Daniels, Lamar, Hurts, and Allen, I would choose the lowest advance rate of those guys.
That would be Allen.
Allen then. And but Bowers. I mean, just Bowers is so much better in a given week at tight end than everyone else.
He's not better than Kittle. Although Aiden O'Connell being the quarterback does unlock more of a ceiling, in my opinion, right? Like lower floor, higher ceiling, just because he's not Gardner Minshew. Chat, let us know who some guys you would like on your teams. And then I just some leveraging pieces emerging here. The true advance rate monsters this year are Saquon, Henry, and Chase. Lamar at quarterback. Really is no one guy at tight end. So AJ Brown obviously leverages off of Saquon. Zay Flowers, put him over Andrews, although if Andrews continues to score more touchdowns than routes run, maybe him. Chase Brown, T. Higgins also, same deal here where just advancing lower. Interesting thing to think about.
Is Dobbins a really high advance rate piece?
Yes, he should be.
That's the thing. I feel like it feels like he is, but he's not. Maybe like 26%, 28%.
I mean, almost 30%.
And he's on a ton of these top 100 teams.
Wonder how Justin Herbert is, because he is, he had a foot injury to start the year, so that's why
I really liked Herbert. I wonder how much I ended up with him in the end.
Herbert perfectly average. I loved Herbert too. I thought it was insane, but I ended up with 20 teams. It was just like, if you didn't take Ladd, you were like, okay, like, am I just going to take naked Herbert, and tack on DJ Chark? 13 teams for you.
13 teams, none advancing. Story of my fucking
one team,
life.
3.4 behind, though.
A Greg Dortch team.
Oh, you got Edwards and Dobbins. Look at you.
I did that. I feel like I did that quite a bit. You know what's funny?
This team should make it because your running backs are through the bye. Herbert, I guess, is your only quarterback. Andrews and Freiermuth. And then Ladd, borderline league winner. Brian Thomas. It is kind of weak at wide receiver, but you have enough. You got 5 guys.
I got my guys who never hit their projection, and Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors.
Well, Neighbors, man. Like, what projection is real with Tommy DeVito as your quarterback?
I mean, I'll tell you, Neighbors he's the Thanksgiving Day giga leverage.
This team is ours, by the way, that I'm loading here.
Okay.
It's the shitty one with Joe Burrow and Herbert.
Damn. I don't like that. You're querying too hard in the database.
Yeah, I know. I gotta. They don't like me looking under the hood for Justin Herbert.
How many Turkey Day drafts have you done? Probably none. You're not grinding hard enough. Yeah.
0. I'm saving all my luck for the best ball playoffs, baby. Let's see. This team is very good solo quarterback, though. Herbert, Bijan, Achane, Kyron Mixon, like nuts. And then it's a little thin at wideout, though. Ladd, Addison, Shakir, so hit for punting off wideout. Jerry Jeudy, it needs downs. It needs downs to be a thing. Andre Yoshivas is alive. And then these guys are, I mean, I think we might get Chark snaps if just how bad QJ was, but he might be dead.
He's behind Rager, dude.
Well, Jim Harbaugh came out and said that Chark is healthy, but he's not playing because of special teams. So it's like Rager provides something special teams, but they have this special teams like star linebacker where some Chargers guys said that when he's active, they could see Rager being cut and Chark would be active. Probably doesn't matter, but Dortch is playing less than Zay Jones now. He's still out there, but he's playing less. Whittington, I think, is purely dead. 2 good tight ends.
Not if Demarcus Robinson gets suspended, he's not, brother.
Oh, fair. Yeah, you're right. Although Tutu, I think, would get more of a role.
I think he would too. Yeah.
This team's good. Kyler and Herbert, Cook, Walker, Chase Brown. Please, God, heal up
The Marshawn Lloyd season is so funny.
So unfortunate, dude. Tyler Algier is a thing. Shipley needs multiple injuries. Sick wide receiver room, though. Chase, Nico, Mike, Ladd. I think Keon plays this week. I don't know if Kincaid plays this week, by the way. But nice 5 wide receivers. Brandon Cooks, I think, is going to get active. Like, I think he'll play next week. And then McBride, Henry, Juwan. Fun-looking team there. I'm sitting at 23 teams. But I got a lot of teams that are barely advancing. This 3.9. You and I have the shitter together, 2.7. 9, 10. So that's why my expected is a little bit lower. And I don't have like any teams that are not advancing that are like close, right? Like, I guess this one, 9.8 points out. Burrow, Daniels, Taylor, Chase Brown. Dude, Taylor is like the only disappointing expensive running back.
He's like the only disappointing expensive running back. It's so funny.
And you know, he gets the Giants. He could be a thing. Davis, your numbers are picking up.
They were, and then Barkley played. I was advancing like 21 teams at some point.
Before Barkley this week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at, because I have a bunch of look how many I have that are like within like 40 points.
Let's see. Like close enough. Yeah, you have some in the hunt here. You could close strong, maybe end around like 17 or so. I would say would be a goal.
I mean, I would, if I got to 10%, I think I'd just take it, 10%, whatever. And then we let it run. Can't be that bad.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, 23 versus 14 feels good, but week 16 semifinals, you could have 4 teams, and I could have 0. That's how.
Who do the Chiefs play in week 15?
I don't know. I had
the Chiefs in week 15 play the Browns. That could be a fun game. That could be like Jameis and Mahomes trading blows. It also could be like the worst game of all time. It also could just be.
I'll pull up the playoff schedule.
Could just be terrible.
Last year I had 51 DraftKings Millie Maker teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which I shared here, by the way, for people. But I think I had like 3 make the semifinals and none make the finals. Week 15, this is the slate of games here. So that week, I mean, Buffalo, Detroit, definitely a game that could have some piece. Like you could get a big game from Josh Allen or the running backs on Detroit's side. Carolina, Dallas, like Rico Dowdle making his mark. That would be good for me.
I have Dowdle on like all my high stakes, like managed teams that are advancing.
Yeah, I don't know why Dak had to get hurt for us to see him, but
it's so funny. The season long results from this year, like, aliens are going to discover this planet in 1,000 years and look back on this season and be like, oh, good year for 0 RB. They got a breakout out of Bucky Irving. They got Chase Brown. They got Rico Dowdle. There were some good late tight ends, Tyrone Tracy. And like if you look at the data that way and you're not setting lineups and shipping them that way, it is very funny.
Other games that stick out. I mean, definitely could see Burrow and Chase eviscerate the Titans. Houston pieces against Miami. Joe Mixon comes to mind there. Bijan against. I mean, Bijan's schedule, man. Raiders, Giants, Commanders. That is a pretty nice schedule for Bijan. The Ravens get the Giants, so nice schedule for them. Caleb against the Vikings again in the Dome. Cleveland Chiefs, to be determined. Bo Nix, could definitely see him get there against the Colts. Green Bay pieces against Seattle. Jacksonville Jets, like, I don't know. You could see some randomness there. Justin Herbert.
Another funny thing about best ball is this season will vary. Like, who wins the money is going to really be determined by what teams decide to just be like, who cares? Let's fuck it. Let's fuck around.
Every year it's decided based on teams, like some teams quiet quitting, some teams loudly quitting, right? So it's like, yeah, the Giants loudly quitting, the Jets loudly quitting. That could make its mark. Chargers get Tampa, man. Tampa's defense remains terrible. You could definitely see some Herbert explosion there. Rams, Sam Fran. Maybe some Sam Fran magic there. Philly at Pitt. How that game goes is going to be very important.
I was going to say that game. So that game right there in Baltimore versus the Giants. Those are like the two.
And Bengals versus the Titans.
Yeah.
For Chase.
Yeah, they're the two most, like, you gotta figure this one out games of the week 15.
Washington, like, New Orleans too. Like, you could like Jaden Daniels in the dome. You could definitely see Terry McLaurin and Daniels getting there. Interesting week 15. We'll talk about that more. My top 2 scoring teams remain 2 stream teams I did on August 30th. Don't need to look at those anymore. Of course, I got Trey Tucker. I like Trey McBride, man. I got some Trey McBride sneaking in here. 7 Trey McBride
You have
teams.
a lot of Trey McBride teams advancing.
Yeah. There's some oddities like that. Like, I got same with Mike Evans. I have 7 Mike Evans teams making it.
Well, because it's such a game of how the points are layered in, like
and
the total
pairing
points
them with Chase.
Story. Yeah,
like
true.
Pairing with Chase, pairing with Nico. Like, and it goes the other way where it's like I'm getting blanked on Allen teams in BBM, and I will be blanked. Like, there's no coming back.
No one that's close, yeah.
But Hurts, I think I'm doing great. I have 8 Hurts teams in, barely for some of these.
Are you advancing more Mahomes teams than Allen teams?
No, because I don't think I'm advancing any. But
you got one close though.
This one, Mahomes to Justin
That's
Watson.
Right. This was the accidental team.
Stroud to Nico, Burrow to. I mean, this one could make it, right? It's got enough at running back. Let's peep your top scoring team.
It's a literal joke team. It's a literal meme team from this whole cast. I mean, that is just a great demonstration of the season. It literally was my prompt from Pete was to draft the Mayo team with Will Levis and Drake May. And it's of course it's a Barkley team. Obviously it's a Barkley team.
I just love that Justin Fields is contributing the most points at quarterback.
Well, because Fields was awesome. I mean, Fields, I know people don't want to talk about it, but I mean, Fields was so directionally accurate, like a great pick.
Yeah. I mean, we could still see him, man. Like Russell's.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, Russell just seems like accepting a first round playoff exit to me. Like
but that's all Tomlin wants to do. Oh,
yeah.
Click on the August 19th when I drafted that on my birthday. Click on it. This is it.
Okay.
This is terrible.
This team looks good though. Before we move on,
no,
after Geno May, Cook, Connor,
steal.
Warren, Pollard, so good, and then Jefferson, Kupp, Moore, Terry, Mooney, Douglas, Bourne, like
Pitts and Fant. So I get 0 points from tight end every week.
Pitts but Fant's gonna return.
He's questionable every week and then never plays.
This team is almost fully healthy. Like, this is a good team.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not gonna win, but it's fine.
August 19th is your birthday?
Yeah. I wonder what I was doing.
Chase,
drafted that.
Reed, Brian Thomas, Downs, Hyatt, dude. They started playing this past week. Another admission of tanking. They're splitting snaps with Slayton. Scott Moss, dude. On your birthday, you drafted Moss and not Chase Brown.
I let you get in my head, dude. I let you get in my head about evening out my. It's so funny that, by the way, the one conviction spot I was most right about in Chase Brown, that was the one that I tried to even out the exposures. I mean, how perfect is that? Where
Well,
like,
I
this
would
one
say, I
might
would
be
argue
wrong.
the Moss injury is evidence you should have. Like, okay, it went a certain way this year. Moss got hurt and ended his season effect. I mean, Moss not technically out for the year, but he is to me, in my
Moss
opinion.
would have never, ever, if Brown got hurt, they're playing Travion Williams or whatever.
No, Moss would be averaging like 13 points. He'd be getting a lot of work.
Yes, he'd be averaging 13 points on 22 touches.
He'd be getting a lot of work. He'd get touchdowns. He would be getting dump off receptions. He would be getting a lot of points. He's not as explosive as Chase Brown, right? Yeah. Let's check our Chase Brown teams.
I just need a couple of these to go my way.
4.
Yeah, see, I need these ones that are like that third place team that's 62 points back. Like I need that team to find a way if I'm gonna
That's
advance.
a lot of. I mean,
it's a lot of points.
2 weeks, and let me just pull up the week 14 buys too.
I do have a lot of week 14, or I actually shouldn't have a ton of week 14 buys. Actually, it should just be Andrews,
Ravens,
and
Broncos,
the Patriots,
Texans,
and the Patriots,
Colts, Patriots, Commanders. The big ones obviously being the Ravens, Broncos, somewhat Texans, and
I probably have a lot of nicks on these advancing teams. I would guess a Kincaid team, dude. Send me to jail.
Kincaid and Jonnu, dude, bringing you to glory. And Curtis Samuel, by the way,
not
he
dead.
could definitely be a thing. He's a thing. Like targets of 8 and 6, score a touchdown. Who did you think you have a lot of? Bo Nix?
Well, I know I have a lot of him. I just wonder how much I have him on advancing teams.
Only 3.
Okay.
But these ones are close.
Yeah. I mean, Bo Nix, if I could just trade in every Mahomes team for a Knicks team, shipper.
Let's see how I'm doing on Chase Brown. 6 of 23. And I'm viewing the ones that are like barely advancing as just like, well, now I'm through the bye, right? Like I'm through the bye of Cook and Chase Brown. So, and Ray Davis, depending what he is. This team is very not good, but like, why do I have Pittman and Adonai Mitchell? I don't know.
AD Mitchell, man. You never know.
Let's see this one. Barely making it. Brian Robinson Jr.
This is a good question. Do they play Travion Williams over Khalil Herbert just because they need a pass protector?
I don't know. I think they're gonna want. I think they're gonna just play Chase Brown because they need to win. They need like
that really is the answer. Is they have to win and they can't. Like you can't have Khalil Herbert out there when you're trying to like literally play for your franchise.
Like, yeah, I feel good about this one making it because it just got through the bye of Chase, Cooper, Thomas, Shakir. And again, like nailing Douglas and Bourne and simply not having these guys be Polk and Baker feels pretty good right now.
That like those guys, that not being Polk and Baker is huge.
Yeah,
that's
you had that same duo. This one's 40 points back. Oh, that's the Mahomes one. This one's 60 points back. Let's see. Burrow and Tua, H.M. Kyron Brown, Gibson resurgence this past week, by the way. You know, he played a lot more. Chase Hopkins, Keenan, Curtis. Yeah, just these guys all are terrible. Just too many. Like, and there were so many, like when you drafted early in the season, there were a lot of teams that you would end with like Burton, Tez Walker, Malik, Odell maybe. Let's check our Rico teams.
Rico teams have got to be, I was going to say that's got to be a sweet spot for us.
9. Well, let's see what his normal advance rate is. He's sitting at.
He should be good, right? He should be a high one.
Correlates with Eagles average actually. So I'm running hot on Rico teams. And also that makes sense, right? Because it's like it's not like the wide receivers are letting me down on my lot of teams. It's just that my running back rooms are like Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Zeke Elliott, Khalil Herbert. And so when you simply nail Chase and Rico instead, it makes
that's a huge equity swing because I have a shit ton of Corum. I mean, obviously, I wish I could trade every Corum team in for a Dowdle right now. Fuck. I mean, I just drafted such shitty teams. None of this even matters. Just so funny.
Well, what's really hurting you is you have a higher quantity of zeros than me, right? Like I lost Ayuk, Christian Kirk, and Zach Moss. You lost Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown.
I mean, I lost everyone. Like of my top 10 exposure players, half of them are on season-ending IR.
Let's check out our exposures.
Not great, Bob.
Worthy just isn't been awesome.
I mean,
Warren looking a lot better lately.
Yeah.
Chase Brown smash. Lost. Moore has been terrible all year, but now he's looking better. Wicks, the thesis have not played out, but you might get a week here with the Romeo Dobbs.
I mean, the thing with Wicks that was so clearly wrong is he's not any good. Like the
Happy Thanksgiving.
The thesis that the thesis that Wicks was going to play well enough to split snaps with Dobbs. Like he was always going to split snaps with Watson, but what had to happen for Wicks was he had to play well enough to get Dobbs off the field. That has not happened for even one drive of one quarter.
Watson's been a pretty good pick. Like if the Packers were passing more, like he is totally drawn live to be a random Amari Cooper spike.
Yeah.
Rico, very good.
Corum, I mean, just he's a handcuff. It's just like it is what it is.
He scored 18 points this year in PPR.
That's
Braylon Allen has scored 59.
Yeah.
Rice, obviously, that one stings for you.
Braylon. I do the Allen thing again. I'll tell you, Jermaine.
Yeah,
Burton Allen is stupid.
Allen was Corum, but 5 rounds cheaper.
Corum and honestly, like I think Braylon Allen is a way better player, too. So like I don't know how much. Oh, good guy, Tyler. Burton and Fant. It's just like Davis. What are you doing?
This was a case of you drafting throughout the summer, right? Because like I don't know about you, but I started drafting Yoshi Boss post summer, and I mean, as you saw, Yoshi Boss contributed 60 points to our team, right?
He sure did.
Fant, injuries partially. I mean, the Fant thesis should have been like with how pass happy the Seahawks have been. Fant should have been feeling like a better pick than he is.
He's been hurt.
Smash. This is hurting you, obviously.
Yeah, it's killing me.
Rome. I think we could really get there with some Rome. Jefferson.
I was drafting the wrong rookie quarterback.
You weren't drafting Knicks, you're saying?
No,
well, May's been good at
wasn't drafting Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is I was drafting all the rookie, and I drafted Daniels too, but I drafted Caleb Moore.
You got some good in here. Obviously, this is hurting. This is good.
Killer.
And you have a lot of late round zeros, like myself and everyone.
Everyone's got late round zeros.
Yeah, but it's just
the fact of the matter is, any team that does not have Chase, Barkley, Henry, or Kamara, Herzig did the math on this the other day. It's like you're like 9% to advance, period, if you don't have those players. And those players were not a big part of my profile at all.
Let's see how I'm doing here. Ford, I mean, he's playing, but not obviously the thesis there is not playing out at all. Kincaid, got to get him on the field. Ray Davis, honestly, like he's very Braylon Allen-esque.
Very, yeah, and he had the one mega spike.
Yeah. Shakir, smash. Keon, got to get healthy. Ferguson seems pretty dead with no Dak. Moss is not Chase Brown. I also have Luke McCaffrey. Losing Ayuk sucks. Rome. We might get there with Rome. We'll take a look at
what do you feel about Shipley as a last round pick? I mean, not that I'm saying it's bad. I'm just wondering your thought.
Well, I mean, so I'll talk you through how I kind of landed there, right? Like last year, I had 20% Darius Slayton, and and why did I have so much Slayton last year? I was like, okay, I hit a starting wide receiver for the Giants, and I thought a lesson of the past season was like Darius Slayton's chance of being a league winner was 0%, right? Where like he just doesn't possess enough upside, a la a Kyron Williams. And so my thought was, okay, Will Shipley could be a league winner if like Saquon Barkley gets hurt, right? So it's like it's swinging for upside. He was barely drafted too for portions of the season until people got into him also late. And it's a little ironic where it's like, yeah, I would invariably prefer this was Darius Slayton, who's actually contributed points this year, than swinging for upside. So this game is hard where it's like, yes, you do want upside, but this year, really, that upside did not exist except for like Bucky Irving, who's really coming on late. He's not like Kyron Williams from last year. And Shipley obviously is behind Kenneth Gainwell. Is the assumption, like, I don't know, teams do weird things where it's like Ty Johnson's ahead of Ray Davis unless James Cook is out. It could be one of those where Saquon got hurt. Shipley
that happens. That most teams do things that way, where the second back is the second back regardless, and then the third back is actually the handcuff.
Yeah. So I mean, look, could Shipley still run very pure and get there? Yes, but ultimately he's not hurting me. It was just like, this guy's barely being drafted, could be a difference maker. I liked the running matchup against the Cowboys, which is ironic because I didn't draft enough Saquon, even though I knew that was like a good running back matchup. Braylon, fine. Jalen Wright is like he's playing some, but disappointing. These guys are all doing well. Flowers, Chase, Dowdle, Cook. Kirk is out for the year, obviously. Watson, still think we could get there. Purdy needs to get healthy. Curtis Samuel maybe is a thing. D-Rob, Davis's favorite player. Corley, terrible.
Demarcus Robinson probably has like a 19% advance rate or something.
Yeah, we'll look at it. Corley was like, oh, Tank Dell smashed as a 3rd round pick. Let's take shots at that, right? Which I guess is a little bit more random. Lloyd, obviously bad. Benson, bad. I mean, Lloyd wasn't bad process, just bad result. McBride, great. Trevor, bad. Chase Brown, smash. Tank Dell, bad season, but you never know. Kittle, good. Swift, good. Gibson, to be determined. Like, yeah, these guys who I have like in the 20s are really carrying me. Like Bowers, Nico, Kyron, Rashad White. I mean, Rashad White could still get there, but he got equal carries to Bucky, but he's not getting.
He's a terrible player is the issue.
Well, you would inherently prefer Bucky straight up over White right now.
Yes, you would.
Brian Thomas, awesome. Caleb and Hurts, okay. Herbert, good. Cook's bad. Downs, good. DJ Chark, baby, it's coming. I also had Jermaine Burton. But yes, some late round zeros as well, right? Like Evan Hull, DJ Chark, Shipley, who we looked at. Let's look at what were some players I wanted to look at? There were some.
Oh, we got to do where we look at all the dead players.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
All right, guys, in the chat, please help. We always kind of mess this up. We need you guys to tell us all the dead players.
I don't include quarterbacks for this because a Lamar Dak team is fine. A Hurts Daniel Jones team is fine. I only include the semi-expensive. We'll add those guys after on the run.
Sure.
Let's just do it with. There's only one running back on this list, by the way. Zach Moss. Diggs is one I forget a lot.
Yeah, Pacheco is back, dude.
Ayuk is on here. Mahomes. Always the jokers. Chris Godwin. Yep. Moss we got on there. Kirk and Diggs is in there.
Who else? Let me pull up the ADP. 2024 fantasy ADP. That's the easiest way to do it.
No tight ends have gotten hurt either. Tight ends get hurt a lot.
Tight ends get hurt, but then they come back because they're just so tough, bro.
Honestly, true.
Yeah. Who else?
And guys, we're not include I don't include 18th round picks because
Christian Kirk, Musgrave.
Like Musgrave too. Like he's too cheap to really count. Like
Shaheed.
Shaheed is the big one.
Shaheed is a good one.
Shaheed was expensive enough where it's like that stinks. But Luke Musgrave as like a 15th round pick. Keon Coleman's not out for the season. He's just missed a game or two.
He is limited practice today, actually. I just saw.
Hollywood, yep. We're gonna include him. He might return, but we're gonna include him.
No, he's definitely dead.
Deontay could be included for this, but I'm not going to yet. Deshaun Watson, also a quarterback, guys.
No, put Deontay in there. Deontay, he's dead, bro.
Okay, fine. Deontay ran 4 routes, so Hayden Hurst too cheap to qualify to me.
Trying to see. Is Ayuk on there? Got Ayuk on there. So funny. This list I use has like the weirdest. Like Brian Robinson Jr. has the injury notification, but like
Gabe Davis was one I forgot. I'll get him in this run. So we're down to 54K out of 112. 48% of teams do not have a dead piece. Let's add Gabe Davis, who I forgot.
Shout out to the 48% of teams that are alive, bro.
You can carry 1-0. I won the 5-5-5 with a Saquon and Brees out for the year. Or no, Brees was out for the year. Saquon wasn't. Aaron Rodgers.
That's a funny one.
50K out of 112. 44%. And then if we add in Dak and Deshaun, and should we include Trevor or not? What do you think?
No, he's literally at practice.
Okay. Well, I said not to include him last week, and last week you had us tack him in.
Well, I thought he was done. And turns out he's not. Daniel Jones, yeah. Oh yeah, this query is going to take forever.
It went pretty quick, so that's why.
Yeah, I mean, look, fantasy football obviously has a huge amount involved, but best ball has even more. Like, it's so funny. Like, this is the most. Oh, Elijah Mitchell is a good one to include.
Yeah, but Elijah Mitchell as a 14th round pick is not really killing you.
Well, that's not the exercise we're doing though. We're trying to find out how many.
Ferguson is going to be shut down because of a concussion. I don't think no team is like, hey, we're out of the playoffs. Let's save Jake Ferguson. He's not like a key piece for them.
So we're down to
33%.
33% of teams. Wow.
Who are some other borderline guys? I guess we could add Elijah Mitchell. Might as well add Jordan Mason too, but
I mean, is he?
Justin Fields? No, you're not including Fields because he's in the mix.
What if Fields scores a Wildcat touchdown in week 15 against Eagles? What if he scores an 80-yard rushing touchdown and advances one of my teams to the semifinals?
Just continue to look very mid on offense, and they're like, you know what? Like
they are fine.
Their best chance of winning the Super Bowl though is like Fields rushing for 250 yards a game. Godwin's already in here. Down to 35K.
It's pretty impressive, honestly. That
31%. Let's see how we're doing, Davis. Chase Claypool.
31.
Six kicking. Let's see here. Joe, Purdy. I mean, ETN an effective 0.
But theoretically, that team that's like 82 points behind, that team that's 56 points behind, like without all these zeros. Oh, Cleve Raymond is a 0 now. He just got placed on the IR.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, does Cleve Raymond being out for the year impact this team at all?
He contributed more points than Yoshi. He almost contributed as many points as Jerry Jeudy.
Half of them. Let's just take a look at the healthy teams and we'll peek some of those. Look at yours as well. Let's see.
Robinson, what a hero.
Might be in. Oh yeah, we wanted to look at the Robinson advance rate. Cleve Raymond again.
Here, I'll check it. I bet the Demarcus Robinson advance rate is 21%. He also will have a high correlation with Kupp and Stafford.
Like Amari Cooper played last week. I don't understand.
19.1% advance rate.
I guess Greg Dulcich could have been included on this query, but like, okay, this team is fine, right? Like, can this team win with just Trey McBride? Absolutely. This is a fun one. Kyler Joe, Kyron Jacobs, and then Spears, Gibson, Vidal. Like, you're looking live there. What'd you say DeMarcus was? 19%?
19.1%.
This one's a pretty good team. If I can get like a third running back to emerge between Gibson, Vidal, and Spears.
Yeah. Oh, we should put Dobbins on that list.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, let's look at our teams and then
do it.
Like Sanat's an effective 0.
Yes, he's playing fullback.
He's playing like 4 snaps a game. So is Shipley. All right.
I mean, some of those teams you have there, I mean, they could sneak in, right? Like 40 points when you have no zeros.
I mean, honestly, yeah, because it's like the way best ball scoring works is, like I've had, like in the 555 streets, I had a team, that was like 100 points back, and now it's like 5 points back.
Put Zamir White on this list.
Is he out for the year?
No, he's just a 0 though.
Well, let's look at your teams first before we. You're not gonna have Zamir White on your. You got 6 teams too, healthy, and a couple, like 33 points behind here. A lot of yours are holding on though. This is the team we looked at already.
Yeah. Well, there aren't going to be that many advancing teams, so chances are we're going to be clicking on White. Polk is probably a 0. I mean, technically he's active.
He ran snaps this past week.
Jalen Polk is the Zamir White of wide receivers.
You would think the Patriots would want to throw out their rookie wideouts. This is a good bad team.
Joe Mixon look at that running back room. My God. Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Javonte Williams. That is some dust ass picks.
Najee might lose his job here to Jalen Warren.
I mean, Najee is just so bad. He's so bad. It's crazy.
Chigakonkwo 170-1 this past week.
How about that? Nice. Probably needed that. He for sure counted this last week on this team, just looking at it.
Let's see. This one's 33 points out.
Come on, show me something good. Nope. Terrible. Dead.
Nick Chubb resurgence. Classic Nick Chubb line, like 2.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, no problem.
If this team gets there, it will be like I need Dontavian Wicks to go Super Saiyan, basically.
I want to look at my one Puka team and then yours. But let's all right, who are we adding here? We're adding Zamir.
Yeah.
And who? There's one other guy to add.
I don't remember. Someone did have a good one.
Yeah, I don't think Zamir's like truly dead, but
Dobbins.
Yeah. Dobbins is the big one. That's gonna cut a lot of teams.
I hope that none of these teams I had that were close have Dobbins.
Brooks is not a 0. He's gonna like double his snaps most weeks.
I would argue.
He was at 5 snaps. He'll probably be at 10 this next week. Then he'll probably be at like 12.
Really? Because Chuba just keeps playing well.
No, I think they'll ultimately be in the split. All right, we're down to 29K if you include Zamir, which leaves you with 20.
Look at this Google map from Liam.
26% teams live in the playoffs. Wait, you got a problem with the calculator?
No, it's just very funny. It's very funny.
All right, let's look. Do you have any Puka teams in the mix?
I think I have one. I think I have one Puka team.
I have one team that's gonna make it. Daniel, this was drafted the day the NFL schedule released, so it really forced. No, Dobbins is not a re-injury. He hurt his MCL is the belief, which was not an injury he had in the past. But also, it's like any injury for Dobbins is somewhat of a re-injury. This team's sick though. You could see it doing some damage. Chase, JT, Rico, Chuba, Ford. Come on, one time. Jay McBride and Jonnu. And then, week 17 correlation, Calvin and Brian, Puka, McBride, Stafford, Demarcus Robinson, of course, Terry McLaurin to Daniels. Could see that one doing some damage. Davis, we saw one Puka team that was close. You got 2 teams that are close.
33-44.
Rasheen Ali, remember? That's a remember.
I did see that at least he's still on the team. He was a healthy scratch on Monday.
Well, post bye, what's going to happen is Keaton Mitchell's going to start playing again, I think. So like he probably might be cut then.
This team, this team is going to get nuked in week 14 though. because
Well, only guys on
loses
bye are Lamar.
But those are the only guys on the team scoring any points.
Flowers. I mean, Stafford, though, you have likely. Like, this team could make it. Especially as people are losing Dobbins and they're, we're going to have the Derrick Henry bye too.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Bucky, if
Dylan Laube, dude, it all's happening for Dylan Laube. Did you see that
dude,
kick
why'd he get no touches this past week? Do they just hate him?
He's not
Kelsey and
good,
Kraft should have been a lot more sick in a different universe.
In a different universe.
Universe
Where
Cup,
Mahomes remembers to play football.
Yeah, these late round zeros hurting here, but I don't know. It's got a chance. Do you have any CMC in the mix?
I had one, but I feel like it's probably fallen behind now. Yep.
30 points.
No, so this team, I was like, oh, dude, this one's cooking. And I've gotten nothing from this team.
4 good running backs. Deontay's dead. Palmer's like playing more since QJ's been terrible. But these guys are all pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any CMC.
And the funny thing is,
did you see, by the way, that we cashed our pick'em slip last week?
Yeah, we got like $9 back or whatever because it was
Rachaad White touchdown. Rachaad White touchdown. He got in there.
White touchdown. All right, well, let's. I got to get out of here in a second and set up for another recording. So let's cook.
Let's cook them, guys. We are hot. You do not want to fade this. You want to tail this. We have been cooking on these. We missed like 2 picks last week, but we still cashed because we had like a bunch. I think I called Hopkins touchdown, right? That one hit too.
I want to say that's right. I had a touchdown one where all 5 touchdowns in the early window hit, and then none of the touchdowns in the late window hit, which is classic.
Very classic. It's like a DFS lineup where you like hit the nuts in the 1 p.m. slate, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna win the Millie Maker.
Here's the deal: people watch this video all the way until Sunday. Let's not do no Thanksgiving picks. Deal?
No Thanksgiving picks, chat.
We'll do Thanksgiving only, then we will do the Sunday. How about that?
All right, we'll do a twofer. Okay, I like it. Thanksgiving only first.
Let's do a 5-legger for Thanksgiving only.
6.
It's better EB. All right, Thanksgiving. I will take Caleb Williams to generate higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns.
If I throw in Rome higher yards, that's not going to ding us on correlation, right?
It will slightly. It will slightly do that. Yeah.
Well, I like Rome. I mean, Rome's getting back-to-back targets of 10 each. Really only needs a little bit of a better luck here. So we got higher on 42.5 receiving yards for Rome Odunze.
All right. I'm going to take Devin A-Chain to record a touchdown because that is what the kids call that even money, brother. No juice, man.
If you do receiving touchdown, though, it's 3.4x.
I'm not doing that, but that is kind of a good bet, it feels like.
Yeah. I think I might take the Josh Jacobs touchdown. Let's see what that is at.
I mean, that feels inevitable, even at that, honestly.
All right. We'll do Jacobs touchdown as well.
We'll do Jacobs. Let's see if they have our boy Schoonmaker.
Appreciate you, BB Meat Gazer. Not Gazer. What an unhinged name.
Is Neighbors on the board?
I mean, he's playing Thursday night, so yes.
Neighbors higher 9.5 targets.
I like that. He's definitely going to get spammed. I'm going Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
Higher 6. Wow, that's a lot. But I'm doing it. Higher than 60.
I like the receiving yards. Receiving yards or receptions, I think, is better.
I kind of like the rushing attempts.
I'll do either. It's up to you.
Let's just do rushing yards. The Giants' defense is quit, man. They're done.
Bang. Flex. Entered. Done. Caleb Williams, higher 1.5 passing touchdowns. Roma Dunze, higher 42.5 receiving yards. Devin A-Chain to score a touchdown. Josh Jacobs to score a touchdown. Malik Neighbors, higher 9.5 targets. Rico Dowdle, higher than 67.5 rushing yards. That is in the chat. That is in the YouTube description. Liam, let's cook for Sunday.
Okay. I'm not even looked at the Sunday slate yet.
I don't even know who's playing.
Let's do a quick peek here. Just at the NFL schedule.
No,
here.
let's just make a pick for every game. What better way to learn?
Okay.
Arizona, Minnesota. They don't even have Trey McBride. They don't even have Trey McBride.
Like they really want people to do Thanksgiving first, so I don't even know how much they'll show for these, you know?
All right. Well, Chase Brown higher than 60.5 rush. Oh, I literally just got like the lines just refreshed on me.
For Sunday?
Yeah. Jamar Chase, 73.5 receiving yards. Kind of interest you in that?
Jamar Chase? What?
Yeah. 73.5 receiving yards.
Can you believe
higher.
Aiden O'Connell's passing yard line is so high?
Chiefs stink, brother.
Yeah, I like that. It's a really low number.
That's a really
Pitt
low
is
number.
number one against wideouts, but I'm gonna throw in Justin Herbert.
Herbert passing yards.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta just has absolutely no pass rush, so that seems like a bad recipe.
Yep. That works for me.
We just need QJ to hold on one time.
Just once. Let's go Tennessee at Washington. Oh,
Pollard?
man. Yeah, Pollard. Even if Spears plays, but I think
Higher.
that is
They are
fine.
the run funnel there.
I like Garrett Wilson lower than 65.5 receiving yards.
Well, hold on. Let me add one. We can get you in there. Let's see.
Or actually, Aaron Rodgers' lower passing yards is better.
I was thinking about that. I'm gonna do the Nico higher, 80.5.
Nico Collins higher.
Why are they not hanging Tank Dell with the hang Nico? I don't
because they want us on Thursday, brother. They know what they're doing. They want us on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know what? We do need to go back to Justin Jefferson. Enough of this shit.
Oh, thanks, Swish. We were trying to cash 1 8-legger, but appreciate you weighing in here.
84.5 receiving yards. Come on, dude. She's Justin Jefferson.
Not bad, yeah. Not even hanging the touchdown line for you to do.
What I missed? Oh, there we go. I got 5. Okay. No, let's do Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers lower, right?
So none of these apply to NFL, right? These profit boosts I have.
None of them. No.
No, it's mine now. You just did Jefferson.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I did want to mix in a Thursday night, but here,
you're killing the people who watch this. What about someone who watches this on Friday night?
Fair.
You're trying to ruin their night, bro.
Higher. The Rams or the Saints have been absolutely killed over the middle of the field.
They're terrible, dude. Yeah, they just forgot how to tackle. Bang. All right, I'm taking the Rodgers lower passing yards for mine, and then you can make the final pick.
I'm doing Bucky higher rushing yards against Carolina.
That's really strong.
I also like the Bucky Irving one. And then we got Rodgers lower, an easy one to root for. Yeah.
Love a lower that you don't have to worry about actually killing you in another area.
All right, guys. This is Chase higher, 73.5, Herbert higher, 254.5, Pollard higher, 62.5, Nico higher, 80.5, Jefferson higher, 84.5, Puka higher, 78.5, Bucky higher, 59.5 rushing yards, and Rodgers lower. Gotta have one lower to no ball. Post that in the chat for y'all. Davis did as well. Make sure to tail mine though.
Well, I think they're actually different because yours is regular and yours is champions now too.
No,
it didn't used to be, right?
Yeah, Florida's champions.
Okay, I'm champions too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a couple things. Number one, the World Chess Championship is taking place, so go check that out if you wish. Number two, hit the like and subscribe button. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. Watch football or don't. Do what you want. I'll be back later in the week. Davis?
Everyone, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna do something different on Friday, by the way. I'm gonna do the 2 streams, the sports betting show and then the pick'em stream. I'm just gonna do them all as one. So it'll just be one video on that Friday. Well, I realize that I'm really just asking too much of people's attention to do the 2 videos. So one stream. And yeah, all right, everyone. I will see you guys all soon. Hopefully soon.
Peace out.